What's going on YouTube? This is Sean. I am back again, and in this video we are going to be working on Deadpool, but the X-Force Deadpool. And just like all my other creation, this is going to be my own rendition because, you know, I like to be different, and different is cool sometimes, I guess. But in this video we are going to be working on the helmet. I know I've already made a helmet a few years ago, but I decided, you know what, I'm going to make a different one that's a little more screen accurate, since the first helmet was based more on the comic book version. This helmet is going to look a little bit more like the movie version. So I've already got all my templates cut out. This is basically all the pieces for one side of the helmet. Just basically flip the patterns over and you have yourself the other side. And here's the eyepieces. I'm going to make some undercuts along this silver line, and normally I would use a wood burner and fuse the melted foam together, but some of you guys don't have a wood burner, so I'm going to demonstrate with a razor blade. Basically, I'm going to cut myself some V-groove undercuts and then apply some contact cement, and once that's dry to attack, then I'm going to press it together, and it's going to give me the I guess, I don't know, the indentation effect. I don't know. Now that the contact cement is dry to attack, it's time to glue the eyepieces together. I did cut the lines right there in an inward angle cut. That way when I press it together, it'll give me a bevel look. Then I'm going to carefully align the eyepiece to the side piece and glue this piece on first because it's probably the easiest way to assemble it. And now that I have the eyepiece connected to the side piece, I want to make sure that the contact cement and the foam is all nice and together. And then I'm going to carefully align this little corner of the top of the helmet, and then work my way to the back of the sides. And then I'm going to do the same for the front of the helmet, or front of the top piece, and that is going to line up to the corner of the eye, which will actually become the nose bridge. And then I'm gonna push all the undercuts together. That way you can start to see the details in the eyes, and then close up this little earpiece thingy. Then I'm going to repeat the process over again with the other side, starting with the eyepiece to the side piece. Then I'm going to close up this little gap right here for the ears, and then I'm going to stick the top piece, starting off with that little corner right there on the top of the eyepiece, and then work my way to the nose bridge, and then down to the back. Now it doesn't really matter which way you go first, as long as you start off in that little corner at the eyepiece. And now that I have both my main pieces all put together, it's time to connect them at the mouth. I'm going to start right here in that little corner and then stick the nose bridge together. This is when I realized I didn't apply any glue there, but that's okay. I can always go back and put some glue there later. Notice I didn't merge the center of the mouthpiece just yet, because this will help me keep the two big pieces separated until I get the mouthpiece married together. And then once I have all that put together, I'm going to use the surface of my table and carefully align the top of the helmet together. And then I'm going to stick my fingers in Deadpool's eyes and then close up that nose bridge, and then continue to carefully align the pieces, or the top pieces. So far so groovy, and my Deadpool helmet is starting to come together. Now I'm going to glue the chin strap, chin skirt, or whatever you want to call it, but it's this piece that's going to hold the lower mouthpiece together. I did cut the lines where they join together in an inward angle cut. That way it kind of helped bevel just a little bit. And now the front of my Deadpool helmet is starting to take its form really nicely. Now I'm going to attach the back half of the helmet together, and I'm going to take my paper template and write down or put down a center mark right there, because that's going to marry together right at the center line of the top part of the helmet. This part right here is a little bit tricky, but I'm going to start off right at the center and then work my way to one of the corners, and then once I get the corner matched up, then I'm going to work my way to the bottom of the helmet. Then I'm going to repeat the process over again with the other side. Now the top part of the back piece and the back piece of the top piece, I did cut in an inward angle cut on both those lines. That way I can get a really nice bevel on the back of the helmet. And it should look something like this, which is looking pretty groovy. Now that my helmet is pretty much assembled, it's time to apply some heat. This will close up the foam and prepare me for sealing. And while it's still hot, I'm going to put some curvature onto the top part of the helmet and the sides just a little bit. This will make it look a little more roundish. And now I'm going to work on the neck cover collar. Or you can actually skip this process if you want, but if you do this, then I suggest using a 4-way stretch material. I didn't have any, so I used a 2-way stretch material, but I made sure that it stretched vertically, not horizontally. That way I can slip it over my head. I went ahead and applied some contact cement to the lower brim of the helmet all the way around, and then I went and applied some contact cement onto the fabric. I did leave myself 1/2-inch seam allowance so I can sew the edges, but I kind of skipped that part because I wasn't sure if it was going to stretch around my head or not. And I went and took the fabric and applied it all the way around the lower brim of the helmet. Notice I even put contact cement onto the edge of the foam. That way I can actually press the material, the fabric material, up against it, and it'll give me a much cleaner look. Now you can choose to skip this part because it does make the helmet a little more difficult to put on, but it does look cool because you're able to cover your neck. Now normally I would sew Velcro onto the fabric, but since I didn't feel like breaking out the sewing machine, I decided to apply contact cement onto the fabric and the Velcro. I'm using some Velcro that's actually got the loop and the hook on either side. I went and put some contact cement on the hoop side and then glued it onto the fabric, and it should hold pretty well. I mean, I've used contact cement to glue zippers to fabric and it hasn't fallen apart till this day. But if you really tried, I mean, if you pulled really hard, you could possibly tear it apart, especially like right here where the Velcro joins together. Yeah, you don't want to pull that piece too hard. But it is entirely up to you whether or not you want to go with the neck cover. I know some of you guys like the neck cover idea. Me personally, I don't like having stuff wrapped around my neck. It feels like a fairy is standing on my back trying to choke me. And since I like breathing, I mean, it's a habit I can't seem to break, I might as well put some breathing apparatuses right around the chin skirt, and I even put some like on the very lower part of the eyepiece. Hopefully the black can conceal the hole, but you know, you gotta have it. I mean, breathing, you know, it's a thing. Now it's time to apply some Plasti Dip. I'm using some black Plasti Dip, which I should have used some gray, but you'll see here later on why I should have used gray, but black was the only thing I had, so yeah. Now, originally painted it gunmetal because I thought it would look cool, but the gunmetal was a little too dark for the X-Force color theme that I wanted to go for. So I went back and took some white ink and some black and mixed that up and got some gray out of it, duh. And then I went back and painted the entire helmet gray, except for the eyepiece, but it didn't really matter because I'm going to go back and paint that black. Then I took some sterling silver, thinned that up with some water, and then I airbrushed it on there, and it gave me a cool silver look that I liked a whole lot better than the gunmetal. Now I actually went in there and put on about 2 coats of sterling silver, and it was looking pretty legit. And then after that, all dried up, I went back and took some darker gunmetal, maybe added a little bit of black in there, and did some shadings around the helmets, like especially around the eyes and some of the features where he might have some shadows. But some overspray gave it some contrast, and that was what I was going for, and it was starting to look pretty legit. I don't know, let me know what you think. I mean, you can actually paint it, you know, red and black to go for the actual Deadpool look. Or you can even go with the blue and yellow for the classic X-Men look, because Deadpool was a member of the X-Men at one point. Now I'm going to take some clear mesh. It's not really clear, but you can actually see through it. And I went and glued it from the inside to whiten out the eyes. And so far, this is what it's looking like. I don't know. I think it's looking pretty sick. I bet you're wondering what the rest of the outfit is looking like. Well, here's a sneak peek at the rest of the armor. Now, I actually made the armor before I even did the helmet. But, yeah. Stay tuned, because the rest of the armor kit is coming out very soon. Now, if this is what you're into, I mean, if this is what you're really into, then the links to the templates will be in the description down below. And don't forget to swing by my Amazon shop if you're looking for supplies, materials, and other cool stuff to build cool cosplays. Don't forget to like me on my Facebook, follow me on my Instagram, and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already subscribed, because I'm going to be doing some more cool stuff. Duh, as usual. And I guess that's it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.